This is It's Not What You Know. Hello, I'm Miles Jupp. It's often said that it's not what you know, it's who you know. This is why you can find yourself saying, well, I may not technically have the necessary expertise to run an aviary, but I have met Bill Oddie. And why one can get away with saying, I may be completely unemployable, but my father is Martin Sheen. Now, tonight, we have absolutely no interest in what you know, just who you know, and pay very close attention to my next words. They couldn't be more important. How well you know them. Each of our three guests has nominated someone they know well to answer a series of questions. Could be a friend, could be a family member, could simply be someone you've shared a communal shower with at the end of a charity sporting fixture. If my guests correctly predict the answers their nominees will give, they will score points. And what do points mean? Prizes. Well, according to my dictionary, points are a unit of measurement to determine font or type size in the printing or publishing industry. Pick up more units of measurement than anyone else, and you could yet be walking off with tonight's star prize. A place on a no-holds-barred survival weekend in the Brecon Beacons with one of Britain's best-loved celebrities, the former Secretary of State for Transport, Local Government and the Region, Stephen Byers. Over the course of a gruelling 48 hours, you and Stephen will have to keep each other alive using your skill, your ingenuity, and the warmth of each other's bodies, while Stephen regales you non-stop with anecdotes from a life in politics. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please welcome tonight's panel, Justin Moorhouse, Bridget Christie and Ainsley Harriot. First, we meet Justin Moorhouse, stand-up comedian, interviewer, disc jockey. He's worked with Peter Kay and Ken Loach, very much the yin and yang of the northern cultural spectrum. And his Radio 4 show, Everyone Quite Likes Justin, has become a firm favourite on the Feedback programme. Justin, tell me how you decided who should answer our questions on your behalf.
Well, I decided because the person I've chosen is a friend, former colleague, and he has plenty of time on his hands. And he's the only person I know with a landline.
Let's find out who you've picked.
My name's Sean Gibson. I am currently on a, well, I suppose you'd call it a midlife crisis sabbatical. I'm from Stockport, and I used to produce Justin's radio show.
Yes, it's your former producer, Sean Gibson. Next, we welcome Bridget Christie, stand-up comedian, writer, actress, star of Radio 4's Bridget Christie Minds the Gap, and also a proud feminist and equal rights campaigner, the plucky little thing. Bridget, tell us how you chose your nominee.
Well done, Miles. For a man, you read that quite well. This person is very dear to me, and we met through our children, but we're not really interested in those. What we found was that actually, if we hadn't met through our children, that we'd probably be very good friends anyway, mainly because of sort of physical, not disabilities as such, but we have lots of strange things wrong with our bodies. And we sort of, well, for example, I'm sure she won't mind me saying, we both have receding gums, quite bad bunions, although hers are much worse than mine, and also webbed toes. So we've bonded over physical problems.
She sounds absolutely fascinating. Let's see who it is.
My name's Rebecca. I'm a teacher in London. I live in Stoke Newington, and I'm one of Bridget's very best friends.
Or so she thought. Yes, it's Bridget's Rebecca Sewell. When Ian Duncan Smith said, never underestimate the determination of a quiet man, he was almost certainly not referring to Ainsley Harriot. If I were to say to you, here is a bag containing some red peppers, a semolina pudding and a bottle of Worcestershire sauce, you would quite rightly say, what on earth is going on? But Ainsley Harriot can bring order to that chaos. I'm not saying he could cook a meal out of it, but he could certainly stand chortling behind some people that could.
like to incur my displeasure, don't you, Miles?
Yes. Dearest Ainsley, how did you choose your nominee?
Well, it's quite easy, actually. Someone that I went to school with, person that I'm very, very close to. We're just very fond of each other. You know, we're fond of each other's families. There's so much history there, and an awful lot of humour too.
Right, well, let's hear who you picked.
I'm Paul Barros. I'm a pitch doctor and author of the Pitching Bible. I live in London, and I've known Ainsley since we met at school 150 years ago.
Please welcome Ainsley's friend, Paul Barros. So let's get straight on with what long-standing fans of the programme like to call round one. In this round, we ask your nominees some questions to find out what they know about you. What you have to do is guess how they answered. Justin Moorhouse, you're first up. We asked your former producer, Sean. As a comedian and radio DJ, Justin can surely not be shy about holding forth. But is there anything Justin doesn't like talking about? What do you think he said?
Is it the universe? I sometimes have sleepless nights thinking about the universe and... Do you know you get on a train of thought? When I start thinking about expanding galaxies and the end of the universe, and I know I'm never going to sort it out. But that doesn't stop me trying, and it just knocks me a bit sick, and I start thinking about I'm thinking about it now. I haven't got the mental capacity or the scientific knowledge or even desire to even start to understand or think. But if I just lie there at night and, you know, you're thinking about this, that and the other, and next thing you know, I'm going, but what's at the end of that?
Well, I wish you
no one else is bothered. This is what am I supposed to be a bit witty, pithy?
No, you're supposed to answer the bloody questions.
All right.
Well, let's see what Sean reckons to that.
I used to freak him out talking about space. He used to get really quite agitated about that. Where the universe ended.
Goodness me, that's extraordinary. 2 points to Justin for this. Does that frighten anyone else? Ainsley, do you worry about the size of the...
I've never really freaked out about it when you're at school learning about Jupiter and Pluto and Uranus, all those type of things. I found that truthfully, I find that really exciting. And suddenly, it's just gone beyond that now. They're saying there's so much out there.
Oh,
so I can understand...
I
can understand Justin freaking... It is, isn't it? Because it goes beyond. It's like... And all your kind of sci-fi movies.
I'm thinking about Jupiter. I'm locking up. I haven't even got in bed and I'm on to Andromeda or whatever it's called. And then does it not worry anybody else? Do you not worry about it? Do you not... The concept that there's nothing on the outside of that.
It's freaky.
Goodness me, this has only turned into a sort of large-scale unburdening. OK, let's turn the conversation to smaller things, to calmer things. Let's not remind ourselves of just how tiny and insignificant we are. Now we turn to Bridget. Bridget, we asked your friend Rebecca Sewell, who is Bridget Christie's all-time hero? What do you think she said?
Oh, my God. I have no idea.
So you don't talk about, therefore, heroes with Rebecca?
No, we don't really talk about anything. We just...
compare gums and...
Yeah. Hero.
If she was forced at gunpoint, I should say that is how the interviews are done.
If she was forced, I think she may have said Mary Wollstonecraft.
OK, let's have a listen. Rebecca?
I'd say at the moment, probably Mary Wollstonecraft.
Brilliant.
Very good indeed. Yes, Mary Wollstonecraft, famously the author of A Vindication of the Rights of Woman. Haven't read it myself, sounds like a bit of a girl's book. Chicklet, they call it, of course. Next, we turn to Captain Introspection himself, Ainsley.
That's the man.
We asked your friend Paul Barros, what's Ainsley's worst habit?
I'm a bit OCD, really. So I'd probably say that my worst habit is cleaning. People will come and have dinner or lunch or whatever, and I'll start clearing away stuff. It's that whole sort of catering world that I've been in all my life, and so, you know, once I'm there, I want to start tidying up, putting things away, and everything's got to be spick and span, and just everything's got to be just so.
Sounds like you'd be an excellent dinner party guest.
Oh, probably, yeah. I'm pretty good. People who do come to dinner...
enough for you, Ainsley? No, and you run into the kitchen.
Oh, no, we all do this. We all go to restaurants, and sometimes things are just taken away without you even noticing. I'm a bit like that. You don't make a point of sort of going there and grabbing a glass out of someone's hand. It's just done in a very kind of...
More like being a pickpocket. Where's my handbag? I don't know.
Speak for yourself, Miles.
I don't like things being stolen, but they did it discreetly. Right, well, let's see. Spill the beans, Paul.
Ainsley has to be cleaning all the time. When we were recording our first single, because he was so bored with the studio process, that he would go out and wash all our cars.
I just like to just get involved in things. Sometimes it is, or quite often it's tidying or hoovering or... until it's late at night.
I've got a spare room, actually. I could leave a list.
Yeah, all right. Justin,
like
are you
hoovering.
a bit... do you like tidying, or are you a bit of messy bugger?
I just sit around thinking about what's at the end of it all, really.
I thought so.
I put the vacuum cleaner on, I go, there's a vacuum, and that's nothing in itself.
Well, I'm always very clean myself. If I'm at home, I always wipe the lavatory seat, especially if it's previously been used to prepare raw chicken. 2 points, Ainsley.
Thank you.
Time once again to explore the massive contradictions and ball of fear that is the comedian Justin Moorhouse. Justin, you're famous throughout Manchester for being a vegetarian. So we asked Sean, what is Justin Moorhouse's favourite vegetable? What did he say?
I don't think he knows. I like asparagus. And I'm one of those people that when I have asparagus, it has the effect. That when you go for pee-pee, it smells. And the other day, this is amazing, have you ever had Barocca? You know, the thing. If you have Barocca, it makes your pee-pee go orange. The combination of having Barocca and asparagus, it was like urinating a magical swamp. It was just...
Right.
Asparagus is my favourite vegetable. I think he'd probably say... he'll say sprouts.
OK, let's see if you're right.
Yeah, I think he likes asparagus. But then I've never seen him eat asparagus, but I think he cooks asparagus at home, because you can't really bring asparagus to work.
Not in the north, they'll burn you in a wicker man.
It's a noted aphrodisiac, of course, asparagus, although very difficult to subtly smuggle one into someone's drink. No points, sadly. Let's turn our attention to Bridget. Bridget, we asked Rebecca, what's Bridget's greatest fear? What do you think she'll say?
Oh.
Is it speech?
Well, I'm trying to think what she...
Oh, right, sorry.
...thinks it is. Sorry, I know, but I really need these points. You'll just have to wait. Greatest fear would be... Oh! Oh, no. She may have said that you couldn't buy Dettol. Specifically brown Dettol, not the clear. Look.
Is that your final answer? Dettol? Not being able to buy Dettol?
Not being able to buy Dettol.
Specifically the brand name Dettol. OK, Rebecca, tell us what you... What's Bridget's greatest fear?
Being filmed wearing a flesh-coloured leotard.
I was going to...
I just know that would be the thing that terrified her more than anything.
Yeah.
You've obviously discussed the leotard thing with her.
I must have at some point, yeah.
But for whatever reason, you've been too afraid to bring up the whole Dettol. But sadly, no points. Of course, you don't want a visual record of you wearing a flesh-coloured leotard. Not a visual record, but as we're all finding this evening, it's very nice to record a radio programme wearing one. Justin, if you need to borrow some little scissors to neaten yourself up, there would be no problems at all. Just round the sides. Now, last one in this round goes to Ainsley. Ainsley, we asked Paul, who is Ainsley's favourite musical act? What do you think you said?
Now I'm a bit old-fashioned here. I grew up. My father was an amazing performer. He got a scholarship to the Royal College of Music, so there's lots of music growing up as a child, and we always had Nina Simone playing in the house. And perhaps because Dad was in show business, we had a turntable. Not everybody had those things in those days. And when Nina Simone came on, it just filled the house with this kind of energy, because my mother would dance around the kitchen, this big batty moving in the kitchen, and my baby just cares for me, woo, and all that. So my answer, Miles, is Nina Simone.
That is a beautiful answer. Let's check it with Paul. Paul, who is the top of Ainsley's pops?
Ainsley's favourite act is Status Quo.
You're so right. Me and my sister, we're still Quo fans, actually. We've been to a few Quo concerts. And, you know, the old air guitar, everybody does it, you know. And down, down, deeper and down, and all that type of stuff. But it just drives the energy. Lovely.
Well, I'm sorry not to give you any points for that, Ainsley, but it was indeed Status Quo, Latin, of course, for status quo. People love the Quo, don't they? Age cannot weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down, down, deeper and down of the sun, and in the morning we will go rocking all over the world.
I like it. I like it. I like it.
So we come to the end of the first round, and it's time to look at the scores, which, as always on this programme, have been independently verified by some people that we know. In this case, the Automobile Association. Met up with them earlier this week, great bunch of lads, although they were a little surprised to be called out to what was less of an automobile emergency, more of a light kitchen supper. Still, I won them round with my choux pastry after they'd sat through 2 courses in, I'll be candid, a mixture of despair and professional frustration. And we can see that in third place is Bridget, in second is Ainsley, and way out in front it's Justin. We've already found out how well the nominees know the panellists. Now we're going to see how well the panellists know their nominees. This time we start with Bridget Christie.
Oh.
Bridget, let's test out just how well you know your friend Rebecca Sewell. Rebecca, what is your least attractive habit? What do you think she said?
What's Rebecca's least attractive habit?
That she would be prepared to tell us.
That she would be prepared to tell us. Right. Oh no, she wouldn't be prepared for that to go out. See, I think
I think it's worth having the courage of your convictions based on previous...
Oh, I don't think I can. She is a good friend. What if it's not that?
Well, I'm sure it wouldn't make the edit if it was embarrassing.
Charming.
I actually don't think I can. I know that I could say something.
All right.
I think I know the answer, but I'm not prepared to say it.
Why don't you whisper that to Ainsley so I can't hear it? You give another answer, and then that way you've got the opportunity of a bonus point if it comes in close.
Oh, what does everyone... Do you think I should? OK, brilliant.
Oh, Rebecca. That's borderline illegal.
She finds it satisfying.
Yes.
Do you have an answer you're prepared to share with the room?
Do I have to say?
Yeah, no, you...
I thought Ainsley would say.
OK, Ainsley, you say this thing that Bridget can't have coming out of her own mouth.
She enjoys picking scabs. Don't we all?
Not. She doesn't go out of her way to do it.
She does it
not
habitually.
Other people.
It's habitually, yeah.
Just if you're there, you know.
Yes.
OK.
Just...
Let's ask Rebecca.
When I laugh a lot, I wet my knickers.
All the time.
Oh dear, well, we hardly need to ask what followed that. So we learned... we learned 2 things about Rebecca there for the price of 1. I can't help feeling... I'm afraid you get no points there, but it does turn out that she wheezes herself when she laughs. That must be awkward. Oh, God. Next we turn to Ainsley Harriot. Ainsley, we asked Paul what his worst habit is. What do you think he told us?
Worst habit? When you have friends, you don't pick up on their worst habits. You just kind of let it sort of wash over you a little bit, I suppose.
You're so nice.
So, I know, aren't I?
You're so
And
nice.
I clean too, Bridget, yeah. Worst habit is not cooking. He doesn't like to cook. He likes other people to do it for him. And if I remember rightly, the first meal he cooked for his wife, he burnt everything, so she never asked him to cook again.
Well, let's see how well Paul knows himself. Paul, what's your worst habit?
When I'm concentrating, I tend to make a noise that goes...
Yes, that's making an annoying noise when you're concentrating. Unthinkable, really. So anyway, that's... no points. Justin, you're back in the spotlight now. Let's see how well you know your former producer, Sean Gibson. We asked Sean what he likes least about modern life.
Post. The mail, the delivery of mail.
The fact that it is delivered, or the fact that it...
Just the process of people writing to him, companies, bills, the opening of post, home mail delivery. Yeah, I'm very confident about this.
OK. Well, let's see if you're close. Sean?
If there's one thing that really annoys me about modern life, it's probably when fast food isn't fast. I get really, really annoyed when you go to a fast food place and they ask you to sit down and they'll bring it over. No, I want it now.
I'm afraid no points. It's fast food that really isn't fast. And he's right, actually. Why don't restaurants do what they say? Fast should mean fast. If it's a drive-through restaurant, you should never have to break. I went to a Chinese restaurant the other day. Do you know where it was? Reading. Not even the same continent. It's a mockery. Jamie's Italian. He isn't. They think we don't notice. We do. No points, sadly, but you've learnt something there about Sean.
What I'm doing, I'm writing that down, so the next time I see him, I will empathise with him about that.
You should write a letter to him about it. Well, it's the end of round 2, and it's time to look at the scores, which, as usual on this show, have been independently verified by some people that we know. In this instance, the National Association of Cider Makers. Met up with them earlier this week. Great bunch of lads. How do you like these apples, they asked. I like them very much, I replied, and a thoroughly pleasant evening ensued. Thank you for asking. Now we can see that... Third place is Bridget, in second place is Justin, and out in front it's Ainsley. It's time for round 3. This round is called The Big One. It's where we ask the nominees to ponder one of life's big questions. It's questions like, is there such a thing as love at first sight? What is the secret of happiness? And why do birds suddenly appear every time you're near? Have you got seeds in your pocket? In this round, our panellists, such as they are, will have to call upon all their accumulated knowledge about their nominee and answer the following crucial question to receive an awe-inspiring 4 points, which could make all the difference. The question is this. If given an entirely free choice, what hat would your nominee choose to wear? This round is, of course, based on the classic BBC radio panel game, Who Wants to Be a Milliner? In which W.H. Auden would challenge titled members of the public to guess what hat they themselves were currently wearing. Episodes were broadcast to Germany throughout World War II in a successful attempt to break the country's morale. Justin, you're first to face the ultimate challenge. Imagine a hat. Imagine it perched atop the furrowed brow of your long-standing friend and colleague, Sean Gibson. You have all the hats in the world to choose from. What's it going to be?
If he could, and get away with it, Stetson.
Let's find out, Sean.
I don't generally look good in hats, so I think it would have to be a beanie.
Well, that's him doing himself down. He'd look great in a Stetson.
I was going to say Stetson for Sean.
He'd look great in a Stetson. I'm going to chat to him. This programme has brought us closer.
We turn to Bridget Christie. Bridget, can you guess Rebecca Sewell's hat of choice? Could be any hat, or indeed object, if Rebecca's chosen to go off-road.
So she's very well dressed and very good with feathers and things. She is, she's very...
Yeah,
Yes, I know, but I don't know what they're called.
Cloche.
Cloche.
Close.
Yeah.
Okay, is that your answer?
One of those or a beret.
Okay. Which is your... You have to choose one of those.
Could you imagine her, like, with a beret doing something devious? Devious people wear berets. Paratroopers and scouts.
Bridget, this is absolutely your last chance to change your mind if you want to.
Beret.
Rebecca?
Ooh, cloche.
I knew it, you see?
Oh, bitterly disappointing. Ainsley Harriot.
Yes.
You may have some friends able to combine a set of randomly chosen ingredients into a delicious meal, but can you guess what hat will be the choice of your good friend Paul Boross? So many hats, so little time. Ainsley?
So many hats. If I go to Paul's house, there is actually I think there's a kind of a hat stand, if I remember rightly, and 95% of them are baseball hats. So it's got to be a baseball hat.
Paul, your hat of choice?
A baseball cap.
Well, 4 points there. My goodness. It's the end of the show. The points have been gathered in and totted as if a totting ban were imminent, and this is the last night of legal totting. And as ever on It's Not What You Know, the points have been independently verified by some people that we know. In this instance, the US Anti-Doping Association, or USADA. Met up with them earlier this week. Great bunch of lads. And let me tell you, what they don't know about doping offences, Lance Armstrong probably does. We spent a lovely evening testing the urine of many, many randomly selected athletes, and do you know, I found a lot of them surprisingly quaffable. And the final scores show that still in joint second place, Justin and Bridget, but out in front, heading off for a survival weekend with Stephen Byers. It's Ainsley Harriot! Yeah. So, thank you very much indeed to our panellists, Ainsley Harriot and his friend Paul, Bridget Christie and her friend Rebecca, Justin Moorhouse and his former producer, Sean. Thank you to you for listening. I guess, after all, it just goes to show it's not what you know. Good night! It's Not What You Know was hosted by me, Miles Jupp. The script was written by myself and James Kettle. The producer was Sam Michelle.